Hi y'all, it's Vonda and Paula
Hello.
with Scripture DIY. We have some cute little fall things that we're going to do today, and we're just really excited that you've joined us. We hope if you are a crafter, a master crafter is what we like to call you, then this gets those juices in your brain flowing so you get ready to make some crafts. If you are not so much of a crafter, you just like to watch us because we're nuts, that's great. Come on in because you know crafting is so much easier than you think it is, and there's no expense if you just do it right. Maybe a couple of bucks and you know you got that. So sit back. Today we are going to be making a scarecrow.
Yes.
Now, Paula, Dollar Tree Queen.
Love Dollar Tree.
She does, and she came home the other day. I say came home. She came here the other day with this cute little scarecrow.
Isn't he cute?
Cute. Okay. He's got strings that hold him.
Yep.
So I thought, you know, he is so cute. I like the way he looks. I like the way he's built.
Yes.
Wasn't crazy about the strings on him. I thought we could do something else to make him look more like our own and less like the Dollar Tree.
Right.
So we decided to take, first thing, what did we not like so much about it? We didn't like the ribbon holding him together as much. So we decided to go ahead and just glue him to a paint stir stick. Stir stick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Sherwin-Williams makes a really big stir stick. You can also get them at Walmart.
Yeah.
There are 3 for about $2. But if you're anywhere close to Sherwin-Williams, drop on in there and tell them you forgot to get them stir sticks. Get one of those. Okay.
Yeah.
So we glued him on, so he's stable now.
Nice and sturdy.
Nice and sturdy. I probably should have glued him on last, but I like to make this, we used a Gorilla wood glue.
Yeah.
And I like for him to stay on there for at least a couple of hours. So I wanted him to look cute for y'all by the time we got finished. So, looked at him. What is the very first thing that needs to be changed on him? Well, let's make him look a little more 3D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give him some dimension.
Give him some dimension. Make him look like he's not from the Dollar Tree.
Yes.
So, the first thing that we're going to do on here is we thought we would give him some blue jeans.
Yeah. He needs some real blue jeans.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, even though you like the way something looks, there's always a spin that you can put on it.
That's right.
And make it look like you want it to be.
Make it look like your own.
So we're going to have him stand up in a flower pot.
Yeah. And that reminds me of a story about someone standing up for their faith. Do you remember that story, Vonda? It's from the Old Testament, the book of Daniel.
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 He was an awesome guy.
That's right. Daniel standing up for his faith. So if you go to the Old Testament, the book of Daniel, it starts out with Daniel and a few of his buddies, and we've got King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, taking over Jerusalem, and they want to take the best of the young men.
I see where you're going with this.
Yep.
He had the body and the looks.
Right.
Just like our little scarecrow.
Like the little scarecrow.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. They took the best of the best from Judah, and they took them to Babylon. And so Daniel and his friends were those young men. So they took them to Babylon, and they trained them up to serve in the king's court. And so Daniel and 3 of his friends were those men, those young men. So we move forward a few years, quite a few years, and Daniel has done really well, and he has been promoted quite a lot.
Well, he had originally told the king that he got his looks and his health and his power
Yes.
by the way he ate and the life that he had led.
Yes, because his life according to God.
Exactly.
Yes. By following his faith in God.
So that already, when he proved to the king that he had done what he said,
Right.
well, then he found favor with that king. I mean, right
Yes.
away, the king realized that he was
Yes.
a good guy.
Yes, he was always trustworthy, and he was never corrupt or negligent. He did his job well, and he did it exactly like he was supposed to. He always walked in the way of the Lord, which we know. Look how cute those jeans are!
Blue jeans.
He walked in those blue jeans, yes. He always did a great job.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's good. No, he walked in his blue jeans correctly. No, we know they didn't have blue jeans, but you know. But he walked upright all the time. And so because of that, he always had favor with the king, and he was promoted. He just continued to be promoted and moved up in the king's court. So moving forward, we're now with a new king, King Darius, and he had favor with King Darius as well. King Darius really liked Daniel a lot, and so King Darius gave him another promotion. So there was a lot of jealousy in the king's court toward Daniel. First of all, because he was, I just forgot the word. He was not from there, from Babylon.
He was a foreigner.
He was a foreigner, and he had come over basically as a slave, I guess you would say, in the beginning.
Well, and haven't you worked in those situations in an office or whatever,
Yeah.
when there's always jealousy going on?
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
they don't want each other to do good.
Yeah.
They just want to
Yeah.
cause trouble.
Yes. And
Yes.
especially because he was not from there.
Yeah.
You know, he was brought over, so to speak, as a slave from Judah. So there was jealousy from the beginning, and then the fact that they could never find any fault in Daniel. They couldn't find anything wrong. They couldn't get any baggage on him, I guess, so to speak. They couldn't find anything bad to get against him and turn him in. So,
But let's think about that a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a lot of time here.
yeah,
Can we live our lives so that no one can find any fault with us?
yeah,
Let's think about Daniel here for a minute.
yeah,
Daniel,
yeah,
I mean, if you know anybody for very long, you know,
yeah,
you see that they have faults. You
Right.
see that they
right,
don't always jive with what you say. And
right, right. And in the book of Daniel, chapter 6, it says, verse 4, at this point, the administrators and the satraps, that's a word you don't hear every day, tried to find grounds for charges against Daniel in his conduct of government affairs, but they were unable to do so. They could find no corruption in him.
And I didn't know what a satrap was.
Yeah.
That sounds like a sad sack to
I
me.
know.
So I didn't know, but if you'll hand me a little bit of that hot glue, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
So what did you tell me that was? It was like a
I
manager?
think it's like a manager, some kind of a government official in the government. And I could be wrong, but I think that's basically what it is. It's some kind of a government official within the king's court. So, but they couldn't find anything corrupt or negligent. And so finally these men said, we will never find any basis for charges against this man Daniel unless it has something to do with the law of his God. So these are really conniving men. I mean, they were determined to bring Daniel down. And they finally knew the only way to do that was through his belief in God. That's really sad. So those administrators and satraps went as a group to the king and said, may King Darius live forever. So they built up King Darius's ego. They were,
It's like most kings didn't need that help anyway,
Yeah.
from what I've seen.
yeah, but they were boosting him up. They were, you know, what's another word for it? They were building up his ego, you know.
He was their little yes man.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
king says is right.
Yeah. So they all agreed that the king should issue an edict and enforce the decree that anyone who prays to any god or human being during the next 30 days, except to you, your majesty, shall be thrown into the lion's den.
But they knew that was not going to happen with Daniel.
No.
So that was
No, they
like
were
the
setting him up.
easiest way
Yeah.
to get him.
Yeah.
Not like the easiest way of getting this raffida on the end of this scarecrow.
Yeah. Now, your majesty, issue the decree and put in writing so that it cannot be altered in accordance with the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed. So King Darius put the decree in writing. Now, verse 10. Now, when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed. This is something he did regularly. But now, and gave thanks to his God, just as he had done before.
Okay, so how much easier would it have been? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you know, I
that
have
was a
this,
good point to
this
good time
brain here.
Yeah, it's a good time to stop and talk about it.
At what point in his brain, thinking that it would be me thinking this,
Right.
at what point did he think I could just go in the living room and close the door and nobody
Right.
would ever know?
Right.
Would I not be coming up with enough excuses
Yeah.
that I could
Yeah.
still talk to God, I could
Right.
still do what I'm supposed to do? They just wouldn't know about it.
Right. But that was their way then. That was something that the people of Judah did, was they would look toward Jerusalem with unobstructed view. That was the way they had been taught. So to not do that would be going against what they had been taught by God.
That's some tough stuff to me.
Yeah.
Would you put this back in there?
Be glad to.
Okay.
So,
So we're gonna decorate his jeans now. I got the jeans. I
Aren't
got
those
some raffia
cute?
underneath here. Now
Yes.
we're gonna give him a little belt and kind of poof him up a little
yeah. Yeah.
bit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's good. I like to stop and contemplate your options. Yeah. So Daniel, then the men went as a group, knowing they would find him. So they went down below Daniel's home, knowing that they would find him. They could clearly look through the window and see him praying, which they did. They went as a group and found Daniel praying and asking God for help. So he knew that they would find him, but Daniel went, instead of not doing it, instead of going to, Daniel could have even gone to the king and asked for help.
No, they
Sometimes-
already signed it saying that he couldn't change anything.
Right? But sometimes when we have a problem, we go to our friends and ask for help.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But Daniel didn't.
I got you.
He went and he started praying and asking God for help.
Exactly.
So they went to the king, these men, these evil men, and spoke to him about his royal decree. So now, this is verse 12. They said, "Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human being except to you, your majesty, would be thrown into the lion's den?"
Oh, they were smug about that.
Yeah,
I
they
bet.
were.
Looky here.
The king answered, "The decree
sorry.
stands in accordance with the law of Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed." Then they said to the king, "Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, your majesty, or to the decree you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day." This is verse 14.
Not only did he pray 3 times a day, but he got in that window so all
Yep.
the world could see he was
That's
praying.
right. When the king
What
heard
faith.
this, he was greatly distressed. He was determined to rescue Daniel and made every effort until sundown to save him. The king liked Daniel a lot, he knew he had been tricked, and he was very upset, and he took all the hours he had left in the day to try to figure a way to save Daniel. But these evil men had really done their evil homework.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they had made sure that there was no way that the king could save Daniel from this. But God. Okay? So we're going to keep going. Verse 15. Then the men went as a group to King Darius and said to him, "Remember, your majesty, that according to the law of the Medes and Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed." So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you."
Okay.
There's some good meat in that verse.
I try to look at this, and I'm trying to think about if I was Daniel. Would I go kicking and screaming?
No. Daniel had
No?
big faith. Daniel had well, I probably would be scared, so scared. I mean, I have faith in God,
Yeah.
but I'd still be scared.
I would be scared to death.
But Daniel didn't. Daniel had huge faith. Huge faith. The very fact that he kept praying in the window,
That's true.
that says a lot.
Yeah. And he knew that God was very
Daniel had
faithful.
already seen many miracles from God. We knew, and you'll, if you guys get time, please go and read
and
all of the book of
Forth
Daniel.
in the fire.
Yeah,
That's some scary
Daniel's
stuff.
friends. Also, you know, the whole fact that they were saved in the beginning, because you know when they came, when King Nebuchadnezzar took over Judah, you know, a lot of those people were not saved. Only the best of the best were. I'm sure that the rest of them were killed. So
The young boys that they took.
yeah. So, you know, there's a lot there. Daniel had already seen a lot of miracles, so he had a lot of reason to, have big faith in God. Big faith.
Okay, so what I'm doing now is it's a commercial, okay?
Commercial
Okay.
break. Yeah.
So I'm taking Rafida, whichever it's called, and I'm putting it along the line, so you can see here on the side that I haven't done where it's got a little bit, but over here I'm gluing it on, and then I'm taking some red and black
Scrapbook paper.
scrapbook paper, and I'm going to make his shirt with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that I can do this sign any better than the way it is, because these are some good looking pumpkins right
they
here.
are. They're cute pumpkins.
And I am not an artist. We have friends for that, and that's not me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this other shirt. I just didn't want you to see me mess up on it. I figured it out first before you looked at it. So we're going to do this other arm, and then we're going to work on his hair and the hat. Brought to you by Scarecrow. Okay, finish the story. I'm ready.
Okay, so a stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den. But I forgot my point about the king saying to Daniel, "May your God whom you serve continually rescue you." There's some real meat in that. That tells me that King Darius had some belief, or was starting to believe, or had developed some belief
Good
in
thought.
God. Yeah. That maybe he was even going to pray to God to save Daniel. There's some meat in that.
That kind of makes me wonder if there's things that we say and do sometimes that might do that to other people. Maybe he was such a witness to the king.
Yes.
What do we do so
Yes.
that other people might think the same way?
It starts that little seed in people. So
Yeah.
everything Daniel had been doing had placed a seed in King Darius.
Oh, that's excellent. I've never
Yeah.
thought about that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. So a stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring and the rings of his nobles, so that Daniel's situation might not be changed. So nobody could say, well, somebody, saved him from it.
They did that signet ring a lot
Yeah.
back then
Yeah.
because that was the only proof.
Yeah. Well, they kept doing it too through medieval times.
Yes.
But anyway, then the king returned to his palace and spent the night without eating, without any entertainment being brought to him, and he could not sleep. I kind of wonder, I'm, maybe reading into this, but how much you want to bet that maybe he prayed to God too?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Because he didn't eat,
Yeah.
he didn't have any entertainment, and he didn't sleep. So how much you want to bet King Darius was speaking to God, was praying to God?
Yeah. See, that's why I have her. She thinks of things like that.
Well, so do you. I get some of that from her too. She's really good at that. So verse 19, it says, at the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel in an anguished voice, Daniel, servant of the living God.
Oh, wow.
Think about that. Daniel, servant of the living God. Okay. He's now saying servant of the living God.
He wasn't saying that the day before.
No.
Oh, that's
Never.
That's tough.
There's been some movement through the night
Yeah.
between King Darius and God.
Yeah.
Guarantee that. Has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions? I think King Darius was expecting Daniel to answer him because he said, the living God. Yeah. Daniel answered, may the king live forever. Woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. My God sent his angel and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, your majesty. The king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him because he had trusted in his God.
I'm telling you, just walking into that lion's den,
Yeah.
if you've ever been
yeah.
up close and personal with a lion,
Ooh. Yeah.
the power that you see in those dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever been to a zoo where they had the clear, it seems like plexiglass. I'm sure it's not, but it seems like it. And
Oh,
one of
yeah.
them's come rushing at it, and hit it. It's scary. It's really
Yes.
scary.
Yeah, well, he didn't have any plexiglass. You still
No.
have that,
No.
okay, it's not going to really get me, but
Right.
it still have that
Right.
adrenaline thing going on.
Yes.
But I just
Yes.
can't imagine, there's so many times we do things and we know that God is in control and we tell
Yes.
ourselves that God is in control. God's going
Yes.
to take care of this.
Yes.
But you tell me who, because I'd like to meet you, who has not thought, oh no, is this really his plan for me?
Right.
Is-
Who hasn't doubted? Who
Exactly.
has not doubted? But Daniel,
He was tough.
he was steadfast. Yes. So, verse 23, the king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And when Daniel was lifted, no wound was found on him because he had trusted in his God.
It was all God. We're
Yeah.
talking about how that Daniel had all this faith.
Yeah.
But when it pulls down to, it's all God.
Yes. All God.
It was all God. God
Yes.
gave him the strength.
Yes.
Just like God gave Jesus the strength to
Yes.
go through the whole
Yes. Yes.
that he did.
Yes. Verse 24, at the king's command, the evil men that plotted all of this, who had falsely accused Daniel, were brought in and thrown into the lion's den along with their wives and children. And before they reached the floor of the den, the lion overpowered them and crushed all their bones. So
he
it
didn't
wasn't,
even get him. He just got the whole
No.
family.
So it wasn't that the lions were not hungry, or that they had been drugged, or any other scenario that you could think of. It was that God had saved Daniel from the lions all night long. Like Daniel said,
Wow.
he sent an angel to shut their mouths.
Mm.
So then King Darius wrote to all the nations and people of every language in all the earth, may you prosper greatly. I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth.
And so, actually, what you're telling me from that is that everybody was then believing in God and
Yes.
not Baal or whoever
Yes.
they were talking about back then.
Yes. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian.
Wow.
Yeah. So
If it had not been for him, then those people would not be believing in God.
yeah. So because of Daniel's faith, all of those people became believers in God, the living God.
Wow.
So, and you know, something else too. You know, what a testimony to the fact that, you know, God is with us all the time. We just have to remember that God will never leave us or forsake us, that He stands before us, He goes before us, He's behind us, He's beside us, He's above us, He's around us, He's within us, He's with us all the time. We just have to remember that. And there's a reason He tells us to fear not 365 times in His Word, once for every day of the year.
Well, and you stop and think, no, there's not anybody on this earth, especially this time, with all the stuff that's going on right
Yes.
now. There is not anybody that's not going through some kind of something.
Some kind of fear or worry or anxiousness or something. But
And
Like
I
the
started to
scarecrow.
worry about the scarecrow, y'all, because this was pretty hard getting his bangs in here, but we're going to cover it up.
it looks good.
So it doesn't look too hot right now, but we're fixing to
It's
cover
gonna
that
look
up.
perfect.
It's going to look good.
Yeah.
But we have to stop and think, we don't have anybody fixing to feed us to the lions, that's for sure.
No, but you know, there's things
So if God can
kind of
take care of
equivalent.
Daniel,
He can surely
He
take care
can
of us.
surely take care of us and our
Yes.
problems. And I'm sorry I'm getting bangs all over you.
That's all right.
I'm messy today.
It's better to be messy and have fun.
So, right now, what we need to do is just stop and think. There are people on this that are listening on this broadcast.
Mhm.
There are people that are going to be listening on our replay
Yes.
that have got things going on and
Yes.
they need help.
Yes.
And they just need to put your trust in the Lord Jesus
Yes.
Christ, and He will take care of
He's
everything
living.
for you.
He's living. He's alive. He's listening. He hears you. He just wants you to reach out to Him and just talk to Him like He's your friend, because He is, you know. And He is there for you. He will help you.
Would you plug this in?
Yep.
One thing that I always try to remind myself is that I've always been through stuff. I mean, I have had some stuff
Yeah.
that I've gone through. But then I look right now, He was so faithful to help me.
Yeah.
So faithful when I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
I deserved God to say, I'm sorry, you're on your own after this, dude.
Yeah.
You know? But the Lord is so faithful, and
He doesn't do that to
He
us.
does not do that, and
Yeah.
He's not going to do that to you.
Right.
And we definitely will be praying for you,
Yes.
because we know that there's lots out there especially
Yes.
with all the craziness that's going on. There is hope, there is love, there is peace, and
Yes.
it all a peace that just goes on.
Yeah.
And once you get through something and you feel those chains just break off of you,
Yeah.
and you feel that heaviness on your shoulders go away,
Yes.
there is no feeling like that.
Yeah.
No feeling like the Lord taking care of us.
Just remember to stand up. Like the scarecrow, like Daniel, stand up for your God.
And he is
Stand up
just
for your
fixing to
faith.
stand up here in just a second. I got a little bit more glue for this dude right here. And I think he turned out really cute.
He is. He's adorable.
He had some hair issues there for a while. Right now we've got strings like crazy.
Stringy hot glue.
But isn't he cute? Doesn't he look better than the
cute.
little dollar store dude that we had a while ago?
He's got his own personality
He does.
now.
Now hold on just a second because we got one
Yes.
more thing.
We're going to show you what one option you can do with him when you get him done. Look
Now-
at this.
Is that too high?
It will be.
So
Okay,
we're going to.
We have a flower pot here. We're going to stick him in the flower pot. Just an option. What to do with him. Yeah.
Right in here.
Look at that.
Got the flowers to go around.
Okay.
Okay, and let
Let's
me. I
hold
can't
him down
tell
in
what's
between
that
us.
thing going on up there.
Okay.
Let's get that done.
And we're going to hold him down here in between us.
If you will push that little square up, then it will go away.
Right here?
Yes. No, no, no.
No.
Up at the top.
Right here?
Push it up. No, push
Oh.
the box up.
Okay,
there
there
you
we go. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So what do you think? Isn't he just too cute?
He's cute.
He's a whole lot better than he was before. But we had faith that we could fix this little dude because he had a good body, a good mind.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Well, we hope that y'all enjoyed our craft today. And if you do enjoy our crafts, please go up and hit the follow button so that you will be notified anytime that we go live. Also, we really would appreciate all the hearts and the likes and everything that you can send us. But most of all, please sprinkle for us.
Yes.
That's how we grow, and we appreciate it. We just love y'all, and we just enjoy the time that we get to spend with y'all.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Don't forget, love one another.
Love one another.
Thank you.